Hi, and welcome to my channel where I make dishes inspired by some of my favorite video game characters. Today's dish is inspired by Goro Akechi from Persona 5. Akechi is definitely a fan favorite from Persona 5, and if I'm being honest, I didn't really get the hype until I replayed the game through Persona 5 Royal. When I played the original Persona 5, I just felt like it was so painfully obvious that he was going to be the traitor, and I felt like we barely had any time to get connected to him as a friend and party member, so I wasn't shocked or betrayed when he finally revealed himself to Joker. Like I said, I feel like Royal really fixed this problem for me by adding in a social link for him so that I could get to know him more, and of course, the third semester also helped me become more attached to him. I definitely went from thinking, why does everyone like Akechi so much, to being like, I totally see why everyone likes Akechi so much, thanks to all the new content. Getting more one-on-one time with him felt like it was meant to be there all along. I love his voice actor Robbie Daymond and everything that he does, and I absolutely love his performance here, as he delivers so many iconic lines and some amazingly touching and powerful moments. I've grown to become quite fond of Akechi and even see him as one of the more well-written Persona party members, so I definitely applaud the writing team for making me do a complete 180 on Akechi. There's just no other idea of a dish to make for Akechi other than pancakes, and I know that it's been done to death and done 1,000 times by so many other amazing creators, but it just wouldn't feel right to make anything else. I mean, it's literally a plot point in the game.
Oh, am I mistaken? I thought I heard something about delicious pancakes.
There are definitely other foods associated with Akechi, such as the spicy takoyaki that he unfortunately grabs from the party, but it pales in comparison to delicious pancakes. That being said, I definitely wanted to go with a pancake recipe that is as flavorful and bold as Akechi is, and I was inspired by the iconic Golden Diner pancakes in New York that are incredibly fluffy and flavorful. So we're making some delicious Golden Diner inspired pancakes with cinnamon honey butter, honey maple syrup, and macerated berries. Game over. This is how your hunger ends. Here's what you'll need to make your own. For the pancakes themselves, you'll need active dry yeast, all-purpose flour, buttermilk, granulated sugar, baking soda, salt, 2 large eggs, canola oil, and the zest of 1 lemon. For the cinnamon honey butter, you'll need very soft salted butter, powdered sugar, honey, vanilla extract, cinnamon, and salt. For the maple honey syrup, you'll need unsalted butter, honey, maple syrup, soy sauce, and salt. And lastly, for the macerated berry topping, you'll need fresh strawberries, fresh blackberries, granulated sugar, and lemon juice. The process will all start with the delicious pancakes themselves. In a small bowl, whisk together 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast, or 1 packet, and 1 cup of all-purpose flour. You'll then head over to the stovetop with a small saucepan. Into the saucepan, we'll add 1 1/4 cup of buttermilk as well as a 1/4 cup of water. We'll heat the pan on medium-low heat, stirring often until it reaches about 100 degrees Fahrenheit, which should take around 5 minutes. At this point, you'll remove the pan from the heat and pour this mixture into your flour and yeast bowl. Whisk everything together until it's smooth, then cover the bowl with plastic wrap and let the mix rise for an hour. We'll then use our 1 hour of time to make some of the dish accompaniments. First, we'll prepare the macerated berries. Wash and slice about 1 cup of strawberries until they are in more bite-sized pieces, then add to a large bowl. To that same bowl, you'll also add in about 1 cup of washed blackberries, a 1/2 cup of granulated sugar, and 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Mix everything together and let the berries sit in the sugar for about an hour to start releasing their juices. We'll then make the cinnamon honey butter. Into a stand mixer with a whisk attachment, or with a hand mixer, we're going to beat all of the ingredients until smooth. You'll add in a 1/2 cup or 1 stick of our very soft salted butter, as well as a 1/4 cup of powdered sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 1/2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and an 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Beat all these ingredients together until they are well combined and fluffy, then set aside for later. We'll then make the maple honey syrup. Head to the stovetop with a small saucepan and add in a 1/2 cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter, a 1/3 cup of honey, 1 1/2 tablespoons of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Heat the pan on medium-low heat, whisking pretty often until the butter has completely melted. Once melted, you'll add in 1.5 tablespoons of water and continue whisking until the whole mix is well combined. You can then reduce the heat to low and cover to keep warm until the pancakes are ready. As the pancake batter is almost done rising, we'll start heating our oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and then set a baking sheet inside on the center rack. You'll place your other metal oven rack directly over the baking sheet. And once the batter has officially risen for an hour, you'll grab a small bowl and add in 1 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 3/4 teaspoons of baking soda, and a half teaspoon of salt. Whisk everything together so that the ingredients are all well dispersed. You'll then grab a separate large bowl and add in 2 large eggs and a 1/4 cup of canola oil. Whisk the two together until they have become smooth. You'll then use a rubber spatula to scrape the risen batter into the egg mixture and then add in the flour mixture as well. Use a whisk to gently stir everything together until there are no visible clumps of flour, but make sure not to overmix. It's totally okay and expected if the batter is still a little lumpy. You'll then head over to your stovetop again to start making the pancakes. Heat 1 to 2 non-stick skillets that are 5 to 6 inches across the bottom on medium-low heat until the surface is very warm. Without spraying the skillets, pour in your batter until the batter is about 1/3 inch tall in the pan, then smooth the top with a rubber spatula if needed. You'll cook for around 2 to 4 minutes until the bottom is crisp and golden brown. Feel free to turn down the heat if the bottom is browning too quickly. Once the bottom looks golden brown like Akechi's hair, carefully use a spatula to flip the pancake and cook the other side for an additional 1 to 3 minutes until that side is golden brown as well. Try to tuck in the edges of the pancakes downwards so that the pancakes have a nice domed appearance. Once both sides are golden, you'll transfer the pancakes onto the rack-lined baking sheet in the oven to finish cooking the center for around 2 to 5 minutes. When the pancake is finished, a toothpick inserted into the center should come out without any wet batter, and then you can remove from the oven and set onto a plate. You'll repeat these steps with the remaining batter, making sure that the pans come back up to temperature between each pancake. Once all pancakes are finished, you'll plate the pancakes one on top of the other and drench them with your maple honey syrup. The pancakes will just soak up and absorb the syrup like big sponges. You'll then scoop some of your cinnamon honey butter onto each layer of pancake, allowing it to melt gorgeously into the warm pancake. You'll then spoon some of your macerated berries on top of the pancakes and add some fresh lemon zest on top of the stack. With that, you're all ready to enjoy. These pancakes are insanely good. They look good and they taste even better. They're so fluffy inside and fill you with such a tender warmth as you eat them. They are comforting, as pancakes usually are, but the specially made syrup and butter bring them to the next level with some intriguing new flavors to enjoy. The syrup is so warm and has this amazing sweetness yet saltiness to it, and it literally soaks so perfectly into the pancakes. The cinnamon butter is so decadent as it melts into the cakes, and the fruit adds such a welcome texture and further sweetness to the dish. I'm literally already dreaming of the next time I can make these pancakes because they were so good. The Phantom Thieves will likely never let Akechi live down the fact that he gave himself away by simply talking about pancakes. That would maybe make some people never want to think about the food ever again, and I imagine that Akechi would go through a short spell where he'd get very angry about everyone teasing him and he'd hate pancakes. And then he'd smell some from a breakfast place while walking down the street and he just couldn't hold back any longer. I see Akechi appreciating pancakes of all kinds, but loving to drench his in syrup and flavorful butter, so these pancakes would be perfect for him. I imagine that Akechi is incredibly self-sufficient and is amazing in the kitchen, so when he was alone and none of the Phantom Thieves were around to make fun of him, he'd find himself whipping this up frequently. He'd know the cooking process like the back of his hand. And one day, once everyone stopped bringing up pancakes to him all the time, he'd finally get the chance to impress Joker, Kasumi, and the rest of the crew with his cooking skills. The recipe card is in the video description if you'd like a more quick and concise version to give it a try. Like if you want a bite, subscribe for more geeky treats, and comment what foods Akechi reminds you of. Thanks for following along.